We got the left side seat cushion out of storage, so we're going to take a look at that. We dug the left side seat cushion out of storage and just kind of set it in place there. We'll take a look at it here. It's an interesting situation going on there, but we'll flop it over here for a little bit. We've got the tracks mounted and the tracks have these little rollers in them that allow the seat to slide back and forth, and of course, like everything else, they're pretty seized up, so we sprayed some jizz in there and got them freed up. The rear ones are the worst. I guess that's where all the crap goes. And then we have a like a hinge piece that goes in the back of the seat, and you know, kind of like, I guess it goes the other way, but it both went into these two holes there, and of course they're pulled out. Now, if you don't have any upholstery on your seat, it'd be easy enough to put some blind nuts on the other side. We don't want to put a bunch of screws through there because that's where you got to sit. So I think what I'm going to do to fix this is make a metal plate that'll go about like that, cover that area, spread the load out, and put some screws into the wood, some short screws into the wood to hold it down, and I'll put a couple of nut certs or something, nut plates in the metal piece that'll go into those holes, and then we can just screw this piece down to those plates, and that should allow the whole thing to work. The other thing we're working on is this back plate, and we got a new piece of sheet metal that, like, is a cap on there, I suppose, and got the grooves cut and got it in place. Going to have to notch the bottom of it very slightly. There's a little interference with that screw head there and the one on the other side, otherwise we're okay. The other thing we're going to kind of have to do is this backboard is a little thicker than stock, so we're going to have to taper that edge in a little bit and then round that corner off to meet these other corners. We can work on that. But we've got the old piece that was on there that's pretty crappy, really. Could have been saved, but we found a new piece and it came with a new quarter panel, so we went ahead and used it. But what we're going to have to do is transfer these two holes for the gas tank that get drilled right in this area all the way through, and that's where the gas tank straps go to. So we've got the center of this piece marked. We'll find the center of this one, and then we'll measure the holes and transfer them, drill them through. Had to clean up our grooves a little bit and grind a little bit at the bottom, miss these screws, and we went ahead and put our holes through for our straps that hold the gas tank. So we've got that in place, and just one more thing off the list. Started to make a pattern for our repair to the back of the wheel tub. That edge back there that nails into the backboard is all chewed up, and I thought what we'd do is make a new piece of sheet metal and then just tack it in, weld it in right here, and just put a new back edge on that whole thing. So we just got some paper there and made a little bit of a template, and we'll have to cut out a piece of material and then put it in the roll. It's got kind of a twist to it here, so it's got to come up, doesn't come up and go like this, it kind of comes up and goes off that way. So we're going to have to work on that, how to get that little bit of a twist in there, but we'll find some material and cut out a piece and see what we can do. It's always something with this project. We got a little creative and fastened this inside latch to the inside of the door and the outside handle, and we got things to work. And you know, even though it's really stiff, works okay this way. And then we closed the door and we kind of eyeballed up where the catch goes, and that would, or the striker goes, and that's this part. I suppose bolts into the panel like that and ends up going in like that. And the problem is that where our wood is, our striker's out about here like that, so we're off quite a bit. So what I didn't consider is the thickness of the upholstery, and I don't know if there's, because I don't have the door panels for whatever reason. I have the seats but didn't have the door panels. If there's a pad in the door panel or whatever, but this latch mechanism here really needs to be spaced out at least 1/4 of an inch, if not a little bit more. That would certainly account for the outside handle sticking through here so far. So for right now, just for giggles, I'm going to cut some 1/4 inch shims. I have some plastic material that will make nice temporary shims, and we'll trace them around the latch plate and drill some holes and shim those latches out a little bit to see if we can get them to line up a little better. And later on, when we get the upholstery, however we do it, we'll do something a little different. I guess I had the impression that perhaps the upholstery fit around this latch, but that really wouldn't be too cool because you're pretty close right in here. So I don't know, maybe somebody out there can tell me for sure, but I'm going to assume that the upholstery is pretty thick here where the latch goes on, you know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 3/8 of an inch. Don't know what that is in mm's, don't really care, but you know, that's what we found out. The other thing we've done is removed completely the tail section, the box for the side curtains. We hadn't had it solidly mounted into place quite yet, just because we still have to do those edges around the back of the wheel tubs, and I still have to do the inside edge where it laps up over that piece of rear framework. So we pulled the thing back out, and we'll get all of that done so we can put it back in once and for all, and then tie the sides into it. And after a lot of fitting and fiddling and multiple trips to the hardware store to buy every length screw imaginable, I think we finally got the door latch figured out. So we put this little spacer in between the latch and the door, and that seemed to be perfect to allow the striker to mount to the wood and come in and close everything. The way it was before, we were off quite a bit. Even when the door was closed all the way, the striker was in too far, so we had to move the handle in a little farther. And I think we've got that figured out. And I'm not really needing the door right now, but it's just another one of those things to figure out. I think I've still got to clean this opening up a little bit here, maybe on my spacer, and I think we'll be okay there. We're not going to mount these yet, obviously, until we get everything, I think, down on the ground and sitting where it should and get the door closing exactly like it should, because we really only get one shot at mounting this on the door pillar or on the front pillar there. We don't want to monkey around having multiple screw holes and all that kind of stuff, so we'll move on from other things. I don't know what I'm going to do with the inside of this door. I don't have the upholstery. You can certainly buy those panels. I'm going to have to see. I could do various things, just make an aluminum panel to cover the inside of the door. I've got some material there that I could make a panel from and paint it green. And of course we could go and get some leather, and we've got some foam padding, and make a padded door panel. There's all kinds of things we could do. And you know, the ideal thing, the right thing, is to buy the proper upholstery, but you know, I'm going to get the checkbook out again, so that's not the way we do things in the backyard.